Hi, and welcome to this lesson on the Innovation Challenge, Shocking Statistics to Overcome. First, before we get started, let's define innovation. Innovation is the application of information, imagination, and initiative to derive greater value from existing resources. This is according to thebusinessdictionary.com. But what does that mean in the project context? In the context of projects, what we're looking for is to derive benefits. First, we have to build the buyer's capabilities. That's the goal of any project. If you remember back from Driving Speed, the previous course in the course series, we talked about how projects are all about delivering capabilities to the buyer so that they can attain an ROI. Now, how do we do that? We do that through the delivery of products and services. But in the end, the question is simple. Is this project going to give us a positive return on our investment? And the way that we calculate that return on investment is using the capability ROI formula. We have to model the organization as a process, and we have to understand what is it about the organization that derives value, its throughput, its purpose for being. Every project will impact the throughput in some way, but it will also impact the cost of delivering that throughput. And we're talking about either producing iPhones, delivering insurance products, or some other form of delivery. When we look at this formula, what's key to understand is that we're taking the difference in the throughput before and after the project, as well as the difference in the cost of delivery. And when we subtract the initial cost from the new cost of delivery in the capability ROI line, we're actually including the cost of the project in the new cost value, and then normalizing it by the total cost of the project itself. This is the way that we get the ROI formula. Benefits minus costs over costs. So how do we do this when we're working in an organization? The way that we do this is first we set the objective. Why does the organization exist? This is again, not the objective necessarily of the project, but the objective of the buyer's organization. We then baseline the performance of that organization without the project. And then after the project is done or some increment is done, we measure how is the organization performing today. This is how we fill out this capability ROI formula. As you can see here at the bottom, I've made some notes about amortizing costs. What's important to understand is not all projects are going to exist over the same lifespan, and many initiatives may occur with different life cycles. So we need to amortize costs so that all costs are on the same unit basis, normally by year. Hi, I hope you're enjoying this free lesson from the University of Maryland's Project Management Center for Excellence. If you want to check out more lessons just like this one, click the link in the description below where you'll be able to go to our website on executive project management. There, you can find edX courses, professional short courses where you can learn from an instructor like me, as well as request custom team training for you and your organization. All right, let's get back to the lesson and I'll see you at the end. So why does innovation matter? Innovation matters because of the fact that it is the way that we are actually delivering these benefits is developing some new capability. What are the new or different benefits that we're deriving? Well, it's right there in the top of the formula. You've got the new throughput that you're putting into the organization by delivering new capabilities minus its old throughput without it. Then you have the initial cost minus the new cost. So what's changing is the ability to deliver for the organization at some efficiency. The existing resources are the resources already within the organization, and they may be added to by the project once it's complete. How can we make sure that this is positive? Well, first, we have to ensure that the top line is positive. So in the case where we have greater throughput and lower cost, the capability ROI is definitely positive. However, if there is lower throughput and lower cost, or higher throughput and higher cost, then there may be a trade-off space. In both of these cases, we have to understand that only the top line matters for determining whether or not the ROI is positive, because of the fact that we're including the project cost in that new cost figure on the top line. Now, does the size of the project impact whether or not the ROI is positive? In fact, it doesn't. The only thing that matters is the change to the organization. Of course, the size of the ROI is going to matter about the size of the project. And we're going to look for big changes from small projects or even bigger changes from bigger projects. So when it comes to the challenge, it's simple. Most projects fail. In fact, if we look at the statistics, when it comes to startups, 90% of startups fail. 80% of new products to market fail. And 70% of all transformational projects fail. That means that, in general, if you're trying to do something new and extremely innovative, you're likely to fail based upon historical averages. These statistics have only gotten better. Since the 1970s, when software projects used to fail on a regular basis and only 10% succeeded, and most projects failed on the order of 65 to 80% of projects, we now see about half of projects in general are succeeding in today's environment. And that's pretty good. But still, that means that you have a 50-50 chance with no other differences about your project in terms of actually being successful in meeting your goals on time and on budget. So then what are the drivers of this failure? The drivers of this failure are almost entirely in terms of the requirements and the objectives. If we look at these top reasons from PMI's Pulse of the Profession 2018, we see the number one reason is that there are changes in the organization's priorities, or that the project is changing their objectives. It could also be that the requirements are inaccurate. These top three all have to do with understanding what the purpose of the project is in the context of what the purpose of the buyer's organization is. When we look down the list, we also see that opportunities and risks were not identified, there's inadequate or poor communication, and finally, an inadequate vision or goal. Requirements are the reasons why projects fail. So what must innovation do? Innovation must align the objectives of the project with the organization to ensure that they are increasing the throughput. They must get accurate requirements in order to do so, which means lots of good communication. And finally, they must manage the uncertainty, the change which is natural within any organization or project. So when we sum it all up, we have innovation means applying information, imagination, and initiative in order to derive new value from existing resources. This is the reason why projects exist. Projects drive innovation by introducing new capabilities into the buyer's organization, into the buyer's life. And it must be a positive change. And the way we define a positive change is that the benefits outweigh the costs. And we measure the quality or the level of change by normalizing those costs and getting an ROI. And then finally, most projects fail because they do not align the objectives, get accurate requirements, or manage uncertainty. So this is the core of the innovation challenge, which we're going to address throughout the remainder of this course. I hope that this has been useful for you in terms of understanding what innovators must do and what you must do to make your project successful. I look forward to seeing you in the rest of the course. Hey there, did you enjoy that lesson as much as I did? If you did, go ahead and give us a like. If you want to see another one, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, put them below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Moreover, is there somebody in your life who really needs this lesson right now? If so, go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Now, we look forward to seeing you in the next lesson where you can learn even more from the University of Maryland Project Management Center for Excellence. Thanks so much.